Hello and welcome to today's lesson of Microsoft Word. In this lesson today we are going to look at text formatting. As usual, this is Izon School of Computing. So let's get straight to our word lesson. So I'll launch Word. We learned this in one of our first lessons. Notice that the Word window is not covering the entire screen, so I'll click on this button here, the maximize button, just before the close button. The maximize button is that button between the minimize button and the close button. Now, because when I launched Microsoft Word, it didn't cover the entire screen, so I'll click on the maximize button, and now my entire screen is covered. So today's lesson, let me type formatting text. In the previous lessons we learned how to enter text into a document, and let's see what we are going to learn. Let me put just a simple paragraph here, paragraph O2, paragraph O2. So we have two paragraphs here, and I'll type what we are to learn. I'm doing this because I want us to use this very text to learn what we are going to do. So I'll press enter and list down what we are going to learn. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to adjust or change the font face. Then I'll press enter. Font size, I press enter. We are going to learn how to do bold, italics, and underline. Then we shall also learn how to align. We have left alignment, center alignment, right alignment, and justified alignment. Then we shall also look at line spacing in this lesson. So let me just scroll down a bit, and then the copy format tool. But we can also add things like font color, and then case changes. So this is what these are the things we are going to learn today, and I'm doing this such that we revise our previous lessons. Remember, this from here up to down is a list, so you should be able to highlight or select the text. So if I click just before font and then scrolled down up to our last option, the copy format tool, I hope you remember that by clicking here and choosing any of these bullets, you can have bullets. So here is a bulleted list. So what do we start with? Let us start with the font. When you type text, by default, the default font for in your document is Calibri body. This here is the font, and the default font size is 11. That is the standard default font and font size if you haven't made any changes to your Microsoft Word setup. So we have Calibri as the default font. I am using Office 219, so that's the default font. Now we have two paragraphs here. What do we mean when we want to change the font or the font face? Just like individuals, we have different handwritings. And also depending on the document that you are creating, different documents may require a different font. Now I'm going to choose the first paragraph. You have two options how to select this paragraph. One is by highlighting. That is, you click at the beginning of the paragraph and then hold down your mouse and move to the end of the paragraph. So you notice that our first paragraph is highlighted, is selected. Now to change the font or the font face of this paragraph, you'll go to this box here on your ribbon under the Home tab, and then there is a drop down arrow here where you find a variety of fonts, and as you scroll through them, you notice that the font is changing. So I'll go down and maybe let me choose Copper Plate, Gothic, or let me choose Cooper Black. That's just one option. Let me choose another. Let me choose Arial Narrow. I hope you notice the changes. If I click, there are just too many and they are in alphabetical order. You can even scroll to the bottom. I've seen one interesting one here. Lucida handwriting. Lucida. Where do I get JKL? Okay, Lucida calligraphy. So I choose this. So you notice that the font face has changed. The font in the paragraph, the first paragraph here, the font face is different from the font in the second paragraph. I'll show you practically where we may need to adjust or change the font. So let us also change the font of the second paragraph. The first option of how to select the paragraph was clicking at the beginning of the paragraph and then dragging your mouse to the end of the paragraph. The other option, we shall try it with the second paragraph. So let us click 3 times in quick succession, or treble click. When you treble click, you select the entire paragraph. Remember, there is clicking, and then there is double clicking. Then we also have treble clicking. So when you place your pointer anywhere in the paragraph, and then you treble clicked, you will select the entire paragraph. So let us choose another font here. Let me look for Times New Roman. I have a few fonts of head. You can also get some on your own that you prefer. So I'm looking for a font called Times. So I have to scroll up to the T's, and this is Times New Roman. So clicking on it will change the font face of my paragraph. Alternatively, let me select the entire document. One of the ways is I'll click at the beginning of the text and scroll down up to the end. Just in case I need a uniform font for everything, every text in my document. So I'll come here again and then click on this drop down arrow and then scroll, and let me look for a font called Tahoma. It's one of my favorite fonts. S and then T. So I have chosen Tahoma. So you notice that now our document has some uniform text. And then next is the font size. How are we going to change the font size? Let me type a few letters of the alphabet at the end of our paragraph. Enter. So I type A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now let us see the effect of font size. Like I said before, the default font size in the office we are using right now is, when you look here, it's 11. That's on condition that you haven't made any changes to your setup. So so all these letters here, the font size is the same, font size 11. So I am going to choose just letter B and then adjust the font size to 12. The difference isn't much, but you're going to notice as we change, as we choose other sizes. Then, so let me choose letter C. I'll click at the beginning of letter C and highlight and select it, just that, just letter C. The next here is 14. Then I'll choose D. I'll come here and choose 16. Then let me choose letter E. And then the next here is 18. I'll choose the letter F. Then 20. Then G. I'll go to 22. Then H. 24. I hope you notice that the size keeps increasing. This will be 26. Then J is 28. Now supposing we want size 30 for letter K. In this list we don't have all the sizes, but we want size 30. After 28, you would hope that the next font size here in this list would be 29 or 30, but that's not the case. So you will highlight in this box and type 30 and then press enter. So we have font size 30. And now the next font size that I want to put is 32, but you don't see it here in the list. But don't worry, I'll select my letter L and then choose this 11 and replace it with 32 and then press enter. So you notice that our letters, the font size keeps increasing just as I wanted it to be. Now let us go back to the beginning of our document here. I want to change the font size of this heading here. I want to make the font size perhaps 28. So I'll click here and choose 28. So our heading is bigger than the text in, bigger in size than the text in our paragraph. Our paragraph here is in font size 11, and yet the text in the heading is in font size 28. Then, well, let us look at font color. By default, our text is in black. What would you do if you wanted to change the color of these words here? Let me first select this entire paragraph. I hope you remember two methods of selecting a paragraph. So I highlighted this paragraph by clicking at the beginning of the paragraph and then scrolling to the end. You have to be careful. So still on our home tab, there is this section where we choose the color of the font, this letter here. So when you click on this drop down arrow, you have a variety of colors. So let me choose perhaps letter red. So our paragraph is now in the text in our paragraph is now red. Let me select the second paragraph. I'll use the second method of selecting the paragraph, that is by treble clicking. Our paragraph is selected, so I'll get back here and then click and choose which other color here is easy to read. Yes, so we have dark blue text as opposed to the black that we were using here. Now, we also want to look at the changes in case of our text. Supposing you prefer a heading that is in capital letters. In one of our lessons, we saw that by using the keyboard and pressing the caps lock key, you would type this text in capital letters straight away. But sometimes we find that we have already typed and we didn't mind which case to use, but you now want to change the case. So let us select this heading and practice this. So I select my heading, and then on the home button still here, when you click on this button, you have sentence case, we have lowercase, we have uppercase, capitalize each word, and toggle case. So this being a heading, let us use uppercase. So clicking here changes the text to uppercase. Let us select this again and see what these other options give us. So I'll click here and choose lowercase. So everything is in lowercase. All the text in our heading is in lowercase. Let us just try again and choose uppercase. So during your free time, you're free to experiment with all the options there. Now we have here, we want to learn how to bold text, italicize text, and underline. Let me type something just at the end here. So I type a sentence. I will learn how to bold text, and then I'm going to have another sentence, and I said I will learn how to italicize text. Then I will learn how to underline text. All these are formatting options, and depending on the nature of your document, the tools, Microsoft Word has the tools that can help you do this. Now, let us just select the word, or let us select the entire sentence. You can click at the beginning of the sentence up to the end of that sentence. And then still on our home tab, this button here helps you make that text bold. It is thicker than the other text, and that very button will remove bold. If you notice, if you clicked on this, you've removed the bold, but clicking on it, it brings you bold again. Let us experiment with italics. So if I selected this sentence, and then I clicked the I, this button here, you notice that the text is slightly bent. That is what we call italics, or italicizing text. Then what of underline? If I selected this, the third sentence here, and then clicked on the U, I'll have my sentence underlined. But underline has also more options. If I select this again and then came here on this drop down arrow, you have more underline options. You could choose a double underline. So you notice that the text is underlined but with a double line. You can even choose a wavy line by clicking here and a wavy underline. So we now know how to bold, italicize, and underline. Then what of aligning text? What does this mean? I'll use the heading here. By default, all our text is aligned left. Our text starts from the left. Even if you were to put a date, let me enter here and put maybe 25th October 2021. You'll notice that the text is on the left. So by default, our text is aligned left. Now, what if you want to center this text? Sometimes you would want to make your heading centered. So you're going to select your heading like this, like here, and then here under this paragraph area, we are going to choose center. This is center. When you click, the text is automatically taken to the center of your page. Now let us try with aligning text to the right. Let me scroll down, and then I'm going to put a copyright notice here. Copyright is on School of Computing. So like I said before, by default, it is aligned left. So if I selected this and then under alignment, I chose align right. If you notice where my pointer is, align right, this text will be taken automatically to the right hand side. Now what of justifying? Justifying, you will see justified text if we use these paragraphs. That's best where you can see this kind of alignment. So when you see our paragraph here, the left hand side is straight, but on the right, it appears crooked. When a word doesn't fit, it is automatically taken to the next line. Now let us see what it means if this text was justified. And by the way, it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to select my paragraph and then choose justify this text. So you now notice that our paragraph is straight on the left and also straight on the right, whereas the second paragraph is aligned left. The right hand side is crooked, but the first paragraph is justified. And then now let us look at line spacing. Sometimes when the text in this paragraph is squeezed, it makes it hard for some of us to read and follow. So you have the option of increasing the space between these lines, I have noticed even when you do work, if you notice, for those who are doing some courses in tertiary institutions, a lecturer will insist that I need your work in either 1.5 line spacing or double line spacing. Let us see what this means. So our paragraph is selected. Now just after this alignment, these alignment buttons, we have another button with a drop down arrow which gives us line spacing options. So we have line spacing 1.15, which is the default. We have 1.5, we have 2. Let us practice with 2. So when I click line spacing 2, you notice that the space between these paragraphs is wider. This makes it easier to read, and in case I'm to make corrections for you on this document, perhaps I can highlight somewhere where for you to make corrections. But it also makes it easier for me to read, as opposed to this one where the line spacing is 1.15. So depending on the needs of the document or your personal needs, select the paragraph and then come to line spacing options and then play around with the options. We have line spacing 1.15, 1.5, even 2, 2.5, 3. You notice that you even have line spacing options here where you can specify you can add more detail to the kind of line spacing that you want. Now, finally, what is the copy format tool? Copy format tool is where, for example, you have this paragraph here in red, and then there is maybe text at the bottom or in the middle of your document that you also want to be in the same color. You will select this paragraph, which is in red, supposing this is the kind of formatting that you want, and then on your keyboard you are going to press these keys together: Control Shift, this is the control button, the shift button, and C, letter C. So I'm going to hold on my keyboard Control Shift C. In the video you will not see that I have done that, but I told you, go to just your keyboard, hold down Control Shift and C at the same time, and then I want us to come to these last sentences. There are 3 of them. So I am going to select these sentences, and then I'll hold Control Shift and V. So you notice that the way we formatted this paragraph is the way these ones are also formatted. The text is red, the font size is 11, the font is Tahoma, just like we had here, and then even the line spacing is, I think we had chosen double line spacing. So that is it. So that's what the copying and formatting does. But where do we apply things like this? For example, the font. I'm going to type, let me just create a new document here. I pressed Ctrl plus N just to have a document, a new document. So let me type, let me say, certificate of merit. Then I will continue. This certificate is awarded to who? Domba Stephen for his role in spreading the gospel of computer literacy in Uganda and beyond. Now you notice that we have the same font size, but this doesn't work for a certificate. So what we learned about changing the font and even the font size. Usually this is bigger, so we are going to use these 2 buttons to increase the font size. So I'll click until I am comfortable that perhaps this is the font size that I wanted. If that's not it, you can even click on this other button to reduce the font. You have this option. You also have the option of going here and choosing a font size. Now our font is bigger and suitable for the heading of a certificate, but we also want it in the center. So on of these 4 buttons, we are going to click on this one, and we have our heading in the center. But then perhaps you want to change this font. So I'll come here and let me look for, there is a font called Old English. So when I change to Old English, I notice that the words are on 2 lines, and I don't want them on 2 lines. I prefer this on one line. So I'll come here and reduce the font, Certificate of Merit. I don't know whether that is readable. Then can we choose any other font? Which other font can we use? Should we choose Elephant? We have a font called Elephant. So Certificate of Merit. So this is a different font, while this also is a different font. Then I'll come and pick this also, this paragraph was, center it. I'll also increase the font size. I can even change the font to Times New Roman. So that is it. I can change the line spacing to 2. And then I can decide that it is italicized. So here we have our certificate, although it's not complete, but at least for what we learned in this lesson, we see where we can apply fonts, font sizes, and then where you can apply things like italics. Let me give you just one more example. I'll press Ctrl N just to get another example. Let me write down something: common plants and their botanical names. Then I'm going to type, one of them is bananas. Let me press the tab key, maybe, yeah, 2 times. Musa SPP. That's the botanical name for bananas. And then I'll type pawpaw. The botanical name for pawpaws is, did I type this right? Carica papaya. And then which other plant? Cassava is also another common plant. Cassava, which is Mani hot SPP. Sweet potatoes. Ipomea, batatas, and pineapple. So for pineapples, is it pine? Wrong spelling. So pineapple, I press the tab, and then ananas. No, this is supposed to be a C. So let me first select all this and increase the font size so that I can easily read. So this one is extended just a bit. Then I'll choose the botanical names and click the I to make this italics. I'll choose this and then click the I. I choose these two, click the I. Have 2 more. So that one for sweet potatoes and that for pineapples. Yes, and there we are. So as a wrap up, we learned how to change the font and the font size, and then we dealt with bold, italic, and underline. We dealt with the font color, and then the case also, and the formatting, line spacing. And this is really enough to make you make a simple document. In case you have questions, please don't forget to visit our website, www.ezonschool.com. You can even email us on info@ezonschool.com. Our WhatsApp number is +256 772 111 223, or you can give us a call direct on +256 752 111 223. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Izon School of Computing, and then follow, and you'll get more highlights. You'll get more tips, you'll get more lessons from us in Microsoft Word and many other office applications. And not only that, please share this video with a colleague who will perhaps find it helpful. Thank you very much.